ladies and gentlemen. This is Best in Slot. I am your host, Ryan, and today we're going to talk about a little thing called Transmog. Now, we know in World of Warcraft there are a lot of players that are interested in Transmog, and I myself try to make my characters look as best as I can. And today we're going to go over quite a few sets and where you can find them so that you can become the King of Transmog, or in other words, Mog Saron. Yes, I just went there. But in the next few minutes, we're going to cover basically where the sets are located, how you can pick up the parts that you want, and we're going to go through each class. For every class, I'm going to show you at least 2 costumes that I thought were pretty much the best sets of Transmog that are pretty easily available right now for those classes. And so, without any further ado, let's get into that. First, we're going to start with Death Knights. First up, we have the Colossal Dragonblade Battle Gear. Now, this one I like because it just, obviously, it looks like Deathwing. That's what they were going for with this set. I like the red one best. I know there is in fact a yellow and blue set in game, but this is my personal favorite. Where this is located, to get the pieces for this set, you do have to run 10-man normal Dragon Soul in order to get the shoulders. Most of the rest of it you can get from Stormwind or Orgrimmar from vendors. And the legs and waist are craftable. So there you go. Next one on the list for Death Knights, and I see a lot of people wear this in game. You can tell it's a favorite, is Scourge Lord's Battle Gear. Now, this one came out in Wrathful Gladiator expansion, and pretty much the entire set can be found in Dalaran or ICC through vendors. If you can't find all pieces, I know definitely ICC running it, the pieces drop pretty commonly inside there as well, that are at least look-alike pieces. Alright, next up we have Druids. Now, the first one on the Druid list is going to be the Terrorblade Battle Gear. Terrorblade Battle Gear drops from Oldar on normal mode. You can run it in either 10-man or 25 and get the gear for this. This one has absolutely awesome shoulders. I tried to capture it in this shot right here. It shows the claws coming forward. Every so often on these the shoulders for this gear, it has basically green claws that come out and go back into the slash marks on the leather. So really cool gear. I like the black and green look. And like I said, it's locatable in Oldar normal. Next one we have is the Oathclaw Garb. This one right now drops in Hellfire Citadel. Now, it depends on what level you run it at. Normal, Heroic, and Mythic all drop different versions, different colorations. But right now, pretty much all pieces are dropping out of Hellfire Citadel. There is a bluer version of this that can be gathered for honor points in Ashrand. Alright, next we have Hunters. For Hunters, we have 3 sets of gear we're going to cover. The first one was the Tier 9 Hunter set, the raid set, called Windrunner's Battle Gear. This one can pretty much be located through vendors in Dalaran. You can purchase most of the pieces through them, and any remaining pieces you can find in the Trial of Crusader. Usually on normal 10-man or 25-man is how you get the pieces for the rest of it. Next set we have is the Stalkers Battle Gear. This one drops out of Dragon Soul if you're trying to get the gloves and the waist for it. And the rest of it can be bought at the Valor Quartermaster at Stormwind or Orgrimmar. Next we have the Lightning Charged Battle Gear. Lightning Charged Battle Gear, if you're trying to get the feat for this, the best place price-wise to get the feat is at Mount Hyjal from Provisioner White Cloud. He's an NPC that sells those. You can go to Stormwind or Orgrimmar vendors for a pretty good amount of it. However, the wrists and waist and legs all come from different raids. Blackwing Descent drops the wrists, the Bastion of Twilight or the Throne of the Four Winds drops the waist, and you have to go through Barad and Hold for the hands or legs. So that is actually a pretty complex one to put together, but I really do like the look. There are some, close-looking pieces of gear that you can probably find auction house here or there to put the pieces together if you want to just get the main one. But it's a pretty cool hunter set. Next we have mages. First up we have the Ember Silk battle gear. Who doesn't want to look like Lord Godfrey from Shadowfang Keep, right? This one can be done through tailoring entirely. So if you have a character that does tailoring, you have a toon that has that, or you know somebody that has the ability to tailor, gather up some materials and the entire set can be made through tailoring. Next we have the Time Lord's Regalia. This one, the legs for it can be crafted. If you run Dragon Soul, you can get the belt and helm for it. And Broad and Hold has the hands, and the rest can be bought at Stormwind or Orgrimmar through the Valor Quartermasters. Another good set for mages. Now this next set is no longer available, and it really makes me cry that they don't have this in game, because in my opinion, this is the quintessential Transmog set in any class in the whole game. It's called Elemental Triad Regalia, and like I said, it's no longer available, but they put a lot of work into this. They literally made the spells, if you're like a Frost Mage, Fire Mage, Arcane, the purple, blue, and orange spells actually light up basically those parts of the set while you're casting those spells. Really, really neat. Put a lot of work into it, and it's a shame that they don't have this available. Hopefully they'll find some way of putting it in the game later. Next we have our monks. The first one on the monks list is going to be the Armor of the Red Crane. The pieces for this drop out of Mogashan Vaults and the Heart of Fear raids from Pandaria. After that we have Fire Charm Vestments. This one drops from people on the Isle of Thunder. Some parts drop from them, and the rest drop from inside the Throne of Thunder raid from Pandaria. Next one on the list we have Grievous Gladiator's Copper Skin. Now this one's really neat. Notice you can probably see it on your screen right now that they have the two different versions. The version on the right, where it shows the person without anything on them as far as their face and shoulders added, that's what it normally looks like. But occasionally, every now and then, there's an animation where it has basically a frozen dragon face and shoulders. Really cool. This one basically has a turn-in at the Kunlai Summit at the Grievous Quartermaster. Next class on the list is Paladins. For Paladins, the first set we're going to look at is Battle Gear of the Guiding Light. This one drops in Heroic Highmaul for the feet, and the feet only. The rest of it can be found in Heroic Blackrock Foundry. Next we have the Cataclysmic Gladiator's Redemption. This one is all from Barad and Hold, and basically once you get it, you get tokens for it, and they have these to be turned in at Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and that's how you get that one. Next we have Priests. For Priests we have the Avatar Raymond. This is a Shatrath City turn-in, and the tokens for it can basically be found in Serpent Shrine Caverns or Grull's Lair, which are both raids from the BC expansion. Next we have, for Priests, the Wrathful Gladiator's Investiture. This one can be found in Stormwind or Orgrimmar and bought with honor points from PvP. Next class we have is Rogues. For Rogues, the first set is called the Battle Gear of the Thousandfold Blades. This one, the tokens can be found in the Heart of Fear raid from Pandaria, and you go to Townlong Steps for the turn-in for those. Next we have Van Cleef's Battle Gear. This set can be found in ICC, or you can go to Dalaran and get it from vendors. Now there are a few parts that you have to piece together by getting drops from normal 10-man and normal 25-man Trial of the Crusader for this one. But all in all, a really nice set for Rogues. Next we have Shamans. First one up is the Windspeaker's Regalia. This one drops pretty much entirely out of Blackrock Foundry. After that, we have the Celestial Harmony battle gear. This one, the tokens come from the Siege of Orgrimmar raid, and you turn them in at the shrine, whether you're Horde or Alliance, whatever shrine you have in Pandaria. And finally, we have the Frost Witch's garb. This one, basically you get the pieces from Dalaran from vendors, and then you run ICC for tokens. Now these tokens, you don't use them to purchase the gear, but you need the gear from the original set and the Dalaran vendors added to the tokens to upgrade to the blue gear that you see in the set on your screen right now. And the blue gear has an added advantage of having an animation that comes out of the shoulders, where it looks like elk, it's kind of, or like caribou, basically, that come out in like spirit form out of the shoulders. And it's really neat. Next class we're covering is Warlocks. First one up is the Shah Skin Regalia. This one drops tokens from Heroic Heart of Fear, and those get turned in at Townlong Steps. After that, we have the Corruptor Raymond. All the tokens for this come from Tempest Keep, a BC raid, and all those get turned in at Shatrath City in order to get the pieces for this set. But this is pretty much far and away probably one of the neatest Warlock sets. And finally, for the last class, we have Warriors. The first one up on the Warriors list is the Black Hands Battle Gear. This one drops entirely out of Mythic Blackrock Foundry, and is absolutely a phenomenal set. If you can see it here, there's basically like a buzzsaw blades that spin around on the shoulders. Sparks fly everywhere. It looks like a giant forge. It's just plain awesome. And the last one on the list is the Wrathful Gladiator's battle gear, and this one can be gathered up in Stormwind or Orgrimmar for warriors with honor points from PvP. So, there you have it. That is my list of Transmog and all the locations you can find it so that you can become Mog Saron.